something very bad is happening. Dog people and their awful so-called pets are taking over. First, there's the obvious ways in which dogs are a menace. Brutal maulings from the more extreme breeds and constant dog-on-human violence from virtually all dog breeds. Think being unable to simply walk through a residential neighborhood, even a rather upscale one, without being lunged and barked at by people's pet dogs, for instance. Then, there are all the less direct ways. Public health issues because their waste elimination becomes everybody's problem. And also, health issues due to the proximity of this foreign species to us. Social issues due to the presence of dogs themselves. Dogs are a social pollutant, after all. The worst part about all of this is that so few people seem to notice or care. The United States of America is pretty much dog nut central. People here have an inexplicable obsession with these deranged, abrasive, food-obsessed abominations that won't even leave us alone when they are restrained or behind a barrier. These deranged mutant vermin can't even get along with each other. Just look up a video short called "Fence Causes Friction for Dogs." Why are they blaming the fence for these dogs' innate hostility? The fence is not what's causing these terrible life forms to want to kill each other. No other animal, owned or otherwise, exhibits this unique, mindless, mutant aggression. People don't behave like this when they're in their own backyards. That's because we're not stupid inbred predators with tiny frontal lobes, unlike dogs.
Obsessed with your existence, mutant vermin. Really not much left to determine.
But it gets worse. As a commenter pointed out recently, in this day and age, Hollywood and the mainstream media don't want to paint dogs in a negative light at all. Whenever we hear about a dog attack in the news, the dog is portrayed as innocent and the victim always gets the blame. Here is a quick example. It's in relation to a story Valentina linked about a shitty and unnecessary canine dog attacking and biting a woman at the Mayfair Mall. Look at this terrible comment from Calicat9492. It is typical of a dog-defending troglodyte.
What did this woman do for the dog to respond in that way? The dog felt threatened.
So if I'm walking around at the mall and I feel threatened by one of these dog nutters, I am justified in kicking them in the face? Somehow, I don't think they would accept that as valid. And I mean seriously. Who gives a shit what a dog feels, or what you say it feels? After all, you can't actually know. But the real point is this. Dogs are no judges of character. They are not our wardens, our overseers, our police, or our overlords. Their aggression against us should not be tolerated, and the fact that they exhibit so much of it is precisely why we need to stop allowing people to own these foul beasts as pets, or utilize them for supposed security. Yeah, I've never heard of a security dog either. And actually, here is another great point made by Valentina. Of course, we could give many examples, like how many infants and small, defenseless children dogs brutally attack across the world per year. But just the fact that these vermin go after mail carriers and delivery workers of various kinds is enough to demonstrate that dogs are out of place on human settlements, and clearly have no fucking idea what a legitimate threat is or not. The dog and its instincts is the problem. The dog's behavior is the core issue, not the owner or what he or she does or doesn't do. That's a distraction from the actual issue. Again, if dogs were suddenly completely gone, none of the problems related to them would exist any longer. There would be no discussion about who or what to blame because the true source of the problem would no longer exist.
Mail carriers have a bone to pick with dog owners, especially here in California, which again tops the list. This is not good for most dog attacks in the country.
Oh, no.
More than 6,000 postal workers were attacked by dogs while delivering mail last year. 77 of those bites were in Los Angeles, earning the city the unfavorable #1 spot for the third year in a row. What's going on? California also ranked as the #1 state with 701 reports last year. The list was released as part of the agency's yearly awareness awareness campaign. USPS says the best way to help is to keep dogs safely tied up or possibly in another area away from workers.
I do think about this. My dog is super friendly, but every time the mail carrier comes, she starts barking.
Listen to how fucking stupid this nutter sounds.
My dog is super friendly. And by the way, here is an example of my dog being the opposite of that.
We should remember, the dog obsessed are a bunch of lunatics who seem to honestly believe the most absurd notions, such as the idea of having a, quote, well-balanced dog. They don't seem to understand or care what dogs are actually capable of. And while some insist that as long as dogs are well-trained, issues should be minimal, many of them are so delusional that they in fact view dogs as faultless saints, when in reality they're incredibly stupid and hostile animals capable of doing brutal and horrifying things, as well as many annoying and aggravating things. And they're not just capable of it, it's in their nature to be that way. It's what the so-called dog trainers and the like fail to understand, or perhaps they refuse to admit it. And of course, those in the dogs are okay, as long as they're trained. Can't fail to consider, among other things, that in the real world, only a very small percentage of dog owners even make an effort to train their dogs. They also omit the fact that there are awful tendencies no one can ever train out of a dog. We haven't yet bred a dog without a prey drive, or one that doesn't bark. Also, lip service to training doesn't address the dog waste problem. What society needs to do is train, or teach, people not to let their dogs shit outside everywhere on a daily basis, multiple times a day. Or better yet, instead of saying how dog owners should train their dogs, how about we train people not to own dogs in the first place? Like, at all. This would solve so many problems. And as we know full well, these people tell on themselves all the time, reveal how they really feel, and they acknowledge just how terrible dogs are. For example, this comment reads,
"My dog is a total asshole. He tears up my furniture and ate most of my Nike collection. If you don't have money, don't get a dog." Of course, what I should really be saying is, if you value your sanity, basic sanitation standards, sanctity of the home, and being able to have nice things, don't get a dog.
I haven't got a brain. Only straw.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Today, we are going to be looking at a Pacific video.
Reddit dedicated to this crazy hate of dogs.
Just the fact that dogs exist.
Bother these people to their very core and ruin their day.
Except it's not just the fact that they exist. It's what dogs do, or to put it another way, their existence wouldn't be a problem if they didn't do what dogs tend to do.
If you don't like dogs, then you're not my friend. If you don't like dogs, then your life might end.
Tell us how you really feel, dog nutter.
Let's remember not to lose sight of the main point, which is the following. Dogs are dangerous and a nuisance, with and without owners. Dog fanatics are constantly trying to force us to focus on training, but this is a distraction because the underlying problem is the presence of dogs. Blaming the dog means that the dog is recognized as being the entity that's directly responsible for the harm it inflicts. Even if you object to the word responsible, the dog is the cause of the harm it inflicts. The presence of a dog is the reason for the existence of whichever dog-related problem is being discussed. The thing causing harm, that is what needs to be out of society. This is the natural conclusion. It is a natural response to dog-on-human violence. Therefore, dog apologists have manufactured this blame the owner distraction. Although, in real-world practice, owners themselves are seldom held accountable, and often, both the dog and the owner get off the hook. Dogs are an effective means through which to aggravate and threaten human life. Taking this means away from dog owners is about removing the source of all dog-originated aggression, intrusion, public cost, noise, danger, and contamination.
Modern dog culture has evolved into a phenomenon that bears alarming similarities to cult behavior, posing significant risks to children and the broader community. The fervent devotion dog nutters exhibit towards their pets transcends rationality and fosters a toxic culture where it is the norm to disregard even the most basic safety protocols and sanitation standards. Where this is most readily apparent is in owners who fail to contain their dogs, allowing them to roam freely in public spaces where they pose a threat to people, especially children, as well as other animals. Moreover, the trend of acquiring breeds known for aggression or fighting capabilities raises serious ethical concerns. Many enthusiasts actively seek out dangerous dog breeds without understanding the potential repercussions of their choices. Having said that, this is more true of regular people who are deceived into believing that pit bulls, for instance, are not dangerous at all. I'd wager that, in most cases, the shit bull enthusiasts or pit nutters know full well what can go wrong and simply do not care. In fact, many of these people specifically gravitate towards dogs they know are dangerous and menacing. This practice not only endangers fellow citizens, but also creates an environment where the worst kinds of ownership can flourish. It is imperative that stricter regulations are implemented, starting with a ban on the ownership of all bully breeds, as well as anything that can be crossed to create a comparable breed, as well as a total reversal of all laws permitting people to bring any dog into public spaces under the pretext of it being a service animal. In addition to this, all large and dangerous dogs, regardless of whether they have historically been bred for fighting or not, should likewise be banned as soon as possible. Strict laws and regulations requiring permits or banning ownership altogether, these would ensure public safety and mitigate risks associated with these objectively dangerous predatory animals. I personally favor a total ban on all dog ownership, or at a minimum, something very similar to what has been implemented in the Maldives. Except, I do not think the military or police forces should be able to use dogs. A complete ban across the board of all dogs would be the most effective way to bring an end to all dog-related issues, including but not limited to their attacks upon us, the issues related to their waste management, and the widespread noise pollution they uniquely contribute to like nothing else does, and without offering a benefit, like emergency sirens do. Being in possession of a dangerous dog, this should be a felony. The same goes for breeding or selling them. It's not hard to know which dogs are the most dangerous. Basically, anything found on a dangerous dogs list, compiled by dog fanatics themselves, that is a good starting place. I also wanted to share the following comment, because I think it is a very good one.
There are so many posts from disillusioned pet owners that want to rehome their pets, mostly dogs, but this is clearly against the covenant. No matter the circumstances, the other owners will say, you must home the dog. You owe this creature love and shelter and protection. Almost no other relationship in this modern weaponized therapy talk era is allowed this same ironclad contract. Spouse doesn't make you feel loved? Divorce them. Mother is overbearing? Go no contact. Friends are toxic? Cut them off. Child has an addiction and sticky fingers? Divest with love, because you have to protect your physical, financial, and mental well-being. Yet dogs can destroy your home, bite you, make you physically ill, stress your nervous system, test your mental health, and you are supposed to keep it in your home. That's the covenant. Some people, I'm sure, adore dogs, but they also get all the dopamine from corporations, feeding them the illusion of societal praise. Ah!
You are such a good person for giving this animal a forever home. Now don't forget to buy pet insurance.
Everyone knows packs of dogs running around suburbia is a danger to human life. But in your home, well, that mitigates the bad PR. In your home, it's mostly you and your family in danger. That's a risk they are willing to take. Once the dog is safely in a home, then they get to spin the story however they want. I often wonder if dog owners realize they could be perfectly good owners, never hit the dog, feed it, play with it. But If the dog ever harms them, or anyone else, the cult will be quick to say what a shitty owner they were, and they brought it on themselves for not training it right. That they never should have had the dog in the first place, even though they fed you a steady diet of all the pros of pet ownership. That's what the cult will tell us out here, and you won't be a victim, just a failure.
There really is an insane cult of worship around dogs, and there's nothing remotely like it with other pets, or animals, or anything else I can think of. In some ways, it is like a proselytizing religion, or perhaps a very cult-like ideology. Someone on Reddit pointed out that every pet store sells muzzles, leashes, and cages in various sizes, explicitly for dogs. Someone else chimed in to mention shock collars and automated invisible shock fences, and also those noose-on-a-pole capture poles used by animal control officers to manage those loving mutts. And it is very true, something I have pointed out myself in the past as well. There are so many products on the market that paint a more accurate picture of just what kind of impact dogs have on society. Needless to say, it is not a positive one.
Unless you're living deep in a cave or cavern somewhere, you've almost certainly heard someone say that dogs are man's best friend. Well, today we will examine some ordinary products that tell a different tale. But first, this brings up a lot of questions. What does this even mean, first of all? Are dogs the friend of every man, or just some of them? And what about women and children? Are they even friendly towards our species as a whole, or at all? Can they even comprehend the concept of friendship? Just some food for thought. First on the list is a specific brand of pepper spray sold in the United States. It is called Holt. Obviously, this is just one brand, and a number of self-defense tools, and even a few things found in nature, can be used to defend against a dog attack. But this one is specifically made with deterring dogs in mind, in particular. It exists because dogs are a problem that needs to be dealt with on the job for postal workers and delivery workers of various sorts and meter readers everywhere. But it is also used by people who simply like to get outdoors. The presence of dogs makes pepper sprays and pepper gels a popular choice for everyday people everywhere. Now think about it. Would the fact that the Postal Service has used this product for over 30 years be used as a selling point because dogs are a fun-filled part of a postal employee's job? Next up is dog repellents of various kinds. These are typically in liquid form and can often be sprayed. But no matter how it is applied, and regardless of the efficacy which can vary from one brand to another, such products clearly exist because dogs are unwanted. People clearly want to keep dogs off their lawns and out of their yards. And again, does that really sound like a friend to you? Number 3. Anti-barking devices and methods. These can include electronic collars and remote sound emitters, as well as dog whistles acquired by people to try and shut barking dogs the hell up. As it turns out, enough people don't appreciate their best friend serenading their neighborhoods all day to where these products exist and abound. There is also surgical debarking and all the training methods openly discussed within the dog world, with the specific aim of addressing this pernicious social bane. In other words, even many dog owners want their own dogs to be less like dogs and bark less, not more. I wonder why that could be. Next, we can't overlook leashes and muzzles. Unfortunately, dog owners everywhere these days seem to be unaware that leashes are even a thing. But no other animal needs to be restrained in public for our safety, the way dogs do. While keeping a dog on a lead can also serve the purpose of keeping a dog from running off, whether dog nutters realize it or not, they are keeping dogs away from others when they actually use these products. Of course, this assumes that the leash does not exceed a certain very short length, and that the owner has full control of their beast attached to them. It also assumes that no dog is powerful enough to drag its owner across the ground in pursuit of something. Really, a dog attached to a strap or a cord only provides the illusion of control or safety. But nevertheless, a dog that is restrained by some means is better than one that has free rein. Muzzles are a pretty blunt way to acknowledge that dogs are dangerous as hell. Finally, although this list could be even longer, there is this specific product, the dog training bodysuit. While this may not be a super common or everyday purchase for most people, it is yet another item, much like a muzzle, which tells you all you need to know about the capabilities of dogs. It's a little on the nose, don't you think? After all, why would you need to shield your body from something benign and safe for the general public?
One of the weirdest things about humans is that they think dogs are cute. There aren't many cute breeds at all. Most are straight up ugly. Sometimes I wonder if they are just lying to themselves because it makes absolutely no sense. Cats, on the other hand, they are all cute. Minus the sphinxes and squished face ones. But even those ones are still cuter than most dogs.
This is something I can't agree with enough. Like, there is absolutely nothing appealing about dogs. Not even the way they look. There is nothing to like about them. But I, too, have wondered if these people are just lying to themselves about dogs being cute or whatnot, for whatever bizarre reason. Even in a dog-friendly coffee shop, dogs bother those who actually willingly choose to frequent such locations. Of course, as it states in the article itself, not all city residents attach importance to such signs, which is a weird way of them admitting that not everyone is a sick-in-the-head dog nutter who's expecting to encounter these vermin when going to an environment such as a coffee shop. Rather than read it all out, I will instead link the story below. I think it's obvious from the way it is written, and this is apparent in the translated version, that whoever wrote this is deliberately trying to paint dog-averse individuals in a bad light. And of course, they have to say the dog's stupid, fucking pointless name a bunch of times, as nutters do.
I can't imagine how a pug could attack someone. They are small and absolutely harmless. It is impossible to put a muzzle on them. And there is no need. This breed does not require such measures.
As someone who has had to mace a loose pug that made a beeline straight towards me, I can assure that these vermin are not harmless by any stretch of the imagination. Dogs should not be able to approach others for any reason, and their aggression and intrusiveness is all the more reason to ban them from all public locations. That is, in addition to how unsanitary it is to allow dogs inside commercial buildings, particularly dining establishments.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This one's gonna be wild. A user asks r/millennials why they bring their dogs everywhere. This post is pretty self-explanatory. A user wonders why millennials bring their dogs everywhere, even in places it's not appropriate. I will admit, they do this. However, I think the reason that they get away with it is because many times they run into somebody like me who's like, you know what? I don't care that your dog is like in the aisle or whatever on this flight. As long as I can pet them, you know? Like us dog people, we can be really annoying. We condone this activity. Like if your dog needs to sit like or needs to chill near your seat and he's blocking my legroom, I totally will not. It could be a 10-hour flight. I totally will not care as long as you let me pet him. You understand where I'm coming from here? We let them get away with a lot. Let's see what the post says. If the business allows them there, what's it to you? I mean, if the business allows them there, the business allows them there. What's up with millennials bringing their dogs everywhere? I'm not a dog hater or anything. I have dogs. But what's up with millennials bringing their dogs everywhere? Everywhere I go, there's some dog barking, jumping on people, peeing in inconvenient places, causing a general ruckus. Where are you at? I see dogs in places too, but they're not really barking and causing a ruckus. They usually mind their own business.
Shut your bitch ass up!
Today we're watching 21 ways that my dog controlled my life. And I even let her plan my wedding.
First option, I need a new outfit. I looked up and apparently you can take dogs into Nordstrom and Ross. Really expensive clothes or really cheap clothes? Cookie? Okay, Cookie, go. Cookie, go. We're going to Ross! Come on, Cookie, we're gonna go shopping. Okay, Cookie, we gotta find me an outfit. All right, short sleeve shirts. It is hot AF in the summertime.
What? What do you want? Why are you crying at me? You're the one growling. See? You're the one growling at me. Damn, you turned into a whole nother beast. I don't even know who you are right now. I don't even know who you are. Huh? Who do you think you are? You want my, hold on. You want my food. You want my food, but yet you're gonna growl at me? How do you think you're supposed to eat your food? Not like that.
If you want to support this content and see more of it, please like and subscribe. If you hate this content and want to fight for weird predator parasites, like and subscribe.